Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman. Welcome to Illustrate to Educate. Don't forget to subscribe for simple, objective videos on topics that matter. Do you know what's in the $1.2 trillion Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act? If not, you've come to the right place to learn all you need to know about it. On November 5th, the House of Representatives passed the Senate version of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the IIJA. The bill then headed to President Biden's desk, where it became law on November 15th. At the signing ceremony, President Biden said, "We're taking a monumental step forward to build back better as a nation. America's moving again, and your life is going to change for the better." It's important to remember that the IIJA isn't a stimulus bill and it's not a response to a specific economic crisis. The IIJA represents a long-term approach to rebuilding America through infrastructure. The IIJA is a once-in-a-generation investment in America's infrastructure. With a price tag of roughly $1.2 trillion, it contains an estimated $550 billion in new spending above baseline levels. In short, the IIJA will rebuild America's roads, bridges, and rails. It has funding to expand access to clean drinking water and ensure every American has access to high-speed internet. It also has funding to help tackle the climate crisis, advance environmental justice, and invest in communities considered left behind. The legislation hopes to ease pressures from inflation and strengthen supply chains by making improvements to America's ports, airports, rails, and roads. It aims to create good-paying union jobs and grow the economy by adding an average of 1.5 million jobs per year for the next 10 years. Let's look at this all in a little bit more detail. The IIJA aims to improve clean water for all American families and eliminate the nation's lead service lines. Currently, up to 10 million American households and 400,000 schools and child care centers lack safe drinking water. The IIJA will invest $55 billion to expand access to clean drinking water for households, businesses, schools, and child care centers all across the country. It also hopes to ensure every American has access to reliable and affordable high-speed internet. Currently, there are about 30 million Americans who live in areas where there is no broadband infrastructure that provides minimally accessible speeds, so $65 billion will be invested in broadband infrastructure deployment and lowering prices for internet service. Next, the IIJA aims to repair and rebuild roads and bridges. In the United States, 1 in 5 miles of highways, roads, and 45,000 bridges are in poor condition. The legislation will invest $110 billion in additional funding to repair roads and bridges and support major transformational projects. It will also improve transportation options for millions of Americans and reduce greenhouse emissions through the largest investment in public transit in U.S. history. America has a multi-billion-dollar repair backlog representing more than 24,000 buses, 5,000 rail cars, 200 stations, and thousands of miles of track, signals, and power systems in need of replacement. In total, $89.9 billion in funding is guaranteed for public transit over the next 5 years. The IIJA also hopes to upgrade our nation's airports and ports to strengthen the supply chains and prevent disruptions that cause inflation. The legislation invests $17 billion in port infrastructure and waterways and $25 billion in airports to address repair and maintenance backlogs, reduce congestion and emissions near ports and airports, and drive electrification and other low-carbon technologies. The IIJA will make the largest investment in passenger rail since the creation of Amtrak. The U.S. passenger rail lags behind the rest of the world in reliability, speed, and coverage. $66 billion in additional rail funding should help eliminate the Amtrak maintenance backlog, modernize the Northeast Corridor, and bring world-class rail service to areas outside the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. The legislation also plans to build a national network of electrical vehicle, or EV, chargers. The legislation will invest $7.5 billion to build out a nationwide network of 500,000 EV chargers to accelerate the adoption of EVs, reduce emissions, improve air quality, and create good-paying jobs across the country. The legislation also plans to upgrade our power infrastructure to deliver clean, reliable energy across the country and deploy cutting-edge energy technology to achieve a zero-emissions future. The IIJA plans to invest $65 billion in clean energy transmission by upgrading America's power infrastructure, including building thousands of miles of new, resilient transmission lines. The legislation plans to make communities safer and our infrastructure more resilient to the impacts of climate change and cyber attacks, with an investment of over $50 billion to protect against droughts, heat, floods, and wildfires, in addition to a major investment in weatherization. Lastly, the IIJA will invest $21 billion to clean up Superfund and brownfield sites. Superfund sites are polluted locations that have hazardous material contaminations, while brownfield sites are abandoned land with possible contamination. There are also plans to reclaim abandoned mine land and cap orphaned oil and gas wells. Did you find this video about the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to be helpful? Be sure to hit the like button and comment on your thoughts about it. Also share this video with others who might like it. And if you're new to Illustrate to Educate, don't forget to subscribe for more simple and objective videos on topics that matter.